My name is Shirleyself, and I'm here to talk astrology. And today I wanted to introduce you to the late and great Tina Turner, Anna Mae Bullock. Before I start, I want to talk to you about solar returns. Solar returns are important, and that the solar return is you take a snapshot of the moment that the sun returns to its exact degrees in your horoscope. And that's your solar return. And it will give you one of these. It will give you an ascendant, a midheaven, and it'll give you a new moon phase that you have to deal with that year. And the reason I brought that up is because this year I am a moon phase 3. And I have been dealing with those issues that a moon phase 3 deals with. If you remember correctly, a moon phase 3 is over in the first quarter, dealing with Earth, the Earth quarter, and moon phase 3 deals with loss and is learning about death. And the thing about a solar return is you can start feeling this influence several months before it starts. And so several months before my birthday, and I knew I was going to be a moon phase 3 because I'm a snoop. Anyway, starting several months before my birthday, my brother died. And then my son-in-law died. And then my husband died. And just a couple of weeks ago, a dear old friend of mine died. And so I'm dealing with death. And so I thought it appropriate, since Tina Turner just recently died, to introduce you to this wonderful woman that we just lost. Tina Turner. She was born 26th of November in 1939 at 10:10 p.m. in Brownsville, Tennessee. She is a 17 degrees Leo rising. Her Chiron is up here in the 12th house. It's in 20 degrees Cancer. It's retrograde. The Pluto is also in the 12th house. It's at 3 degrees Leo, retrograde. Her Neptune is at in the second house here at 25 degrees Virgo. North Node here in the third at 28 degrees of Libra. Sun at 4 Sagittarius. Mercury at 8 Sagittarius retrograde. Venus at 25 Sagittarius here in the 5th house. Here's the Fortuna, which is over there on the cusp of the 7th house at 14 degrees of Aquarius. She's got, a reason I put Juno up here is because Juno is important to relationships, and she is at 28 degrees of Aquarius. We got Mars right here, conjunct Juno at 5 degrees Pisces in the 7th. Jupiter's here in the 8th at 29 degrees Pisces. Saturn at 25 Aries retrograde. The South Node conjunct Saturn in Aries at 28 degrees. Uranus at 19 Taurus retrograde. And the Moon at 7 Gemini. They're up there in the 10th house. So that's Tina Turner. Let's just start right here at the beginning. This 17 degrees of Leo. If you'll remember Tina Turner and this mane of hair, Tina Turner was a lion. She was a lion. She had the lion's mane. She had the lion's attitude. She has had four, is that right? 5 planets in fire. 5 planets in fire. Let's see what I want to tell you about her. She's a moon phase 15. She was a moon phase 15. And if you remember correctly, the 15 is an ideal person, built to ideal specifications. And 15 rests 15 is a phase of peace. because a lot of work has been done and a tremendous feeling of satisfaction. Again, fill the moon phase 15. But one of the things a 15 has to do before it can actually do its work is it has to bring all of its parts, all of its pieces, and it has to come into unity. And so anything that a 15 feels that is not part of them, or that I can't do my job, they have to deal with that. And there's a great deal of anguish that every 15 I've known has gone through. And Yeats said it has to do with wrong thinking. Now let's look at Tina Turner's wrong thinking. She's got the nodes in the 3rd and 9th house of thinking. This is how you think. This is your belief system. And up here. And Tina's got that Saturn there in Aries, retrograde. South node's conjuncted. Thank God the South node's conjuncted. As I have pointed out before, you get the South node conjunct a malefic, and it makes the malefic a little less malefic. So she's got that South node up there in her house of belief and faith and religion. And what she lacked was faith in herself. She really felt that she couldn't do it alone. She needed this partner over here. So she was very young. She's still a teenager when she teamed up with Ike. And so Ike is over here in the 7th house. And as that Mars, notice that Mars is square, and it's a tight square, and it's an applying or waxing square, which means it's very difficult. When you look at the squares, pay attention to whether they're coming into a square or whether they're leaving a square. If it's leaving the square, it's the realization is available. The information that needed to be dealt with as it was coming to the square, you know that stuff. And so a waning square is much easier to deal with because you've got the information you need. You just need to learn to act on it. So she's got this square to Mars from her sun, and that gave her a brutal partner. And I put Juno there because Juno always brings issues in relationship. You know, Juno was married to Zeus or Jupiter, one, and they're the same guy. Anyway, he was terribly unfaithful, and relationship is Juno's issue. And so her thinking that she needed a relationship was disabused. She was disabused by Ike, who actually did put her on the path. He gave her name, Tina Turner. She was born, I think, Anna Mae Bullock. Wonder if she was related to Sandra Bullock, one of my favorite actresses. So that's that violent husband that she had to deal with. And he gave her every opportunity to reevaluate her insecurity about her own powers, her own talents, for instance. Look at the Venus down here. The Venus is ruled by the Jupiter. The Jupiter rules everything in this chart. The Jupiter rules the ascendant, and it rules the Sun, the Mercury, the Venus, and so it also rules the Pluto, which is ruled by the Sun. It rules the Mercury, which rules the Moon. It rules the Uranus because it rules the Venus, which rules the Uranus. It rules the Saturn because it is the Saturn is ruled by Mars, and the Mars is overwhelmed. Thank God for that, right? Jupiter. Okay, she's got this grand square. Not a grand square, grand trine, and it's fire, and water. One of the things about this chart is that simply needed to be confident enough to use her fire. And I can imagine that she gave Ike, she did not willingly submit to whatever she did not agree with her husband, Ike. She was not a submissive person at all. I mean, truly, truly the lion. And that struggle with Ike was her struggle with herself to own her own powers. And they were tremendous. Look at this. Venus is here in the fifth house of self-expression. The moon up there is your career is to say or sing or tell it from the heart. And she did, beautifully. Let's see, what else have I got? The Venus, although it is square, the Jupiter, and it's an applying square. The Venus is moving toward the Jupiter. So this could be overindulgence. It could be a lack of ability to control yourself. Overeating, alcoholism, that kind of thing. Especially when you consider that the Jupiter here is opposite the Neptune, and that can bring in all sorts of addiction issues and stuff. Not that I knew that I don't think she had issues, because she was a successful entertainer for years. And I remember just a few months before she died, I watched a video of her singing Proud Mary. And oh, what a production. And her energy is incredible. And you'd think that with this Neptune-Jupiter opposition, that energy would be a real problem with her. But this Jupiter's got this trine to this high-energy sun here in Sagittarius, and this high-energy Pluto there in the 12th house in Leo. So she could call on tremendous amounts of energy and power to sustain her. And I think that that energy sustained her clear up to her death. What else do I want to tell you? Okay, we've talked about the faith, the lack of faith she has, and the difficult relationships. Let's talk about Chiron. This Chiron is in Cancer, and it's got some issues. It's square the Saturn, and it shows basic insecurity that she had, and it came from the parents. There was issues with her parents. I do not know her history, but the square to Saturn, Chiron square to Saturn, is going to talk about her upbringing and how difficult it was. And anyway, so the Chiron up here, it's got this difficult square to the Saturn, but it also has a semisquare to Moon, and that semisquare to the Moon makes her restless. She always has to be doing something. And the fire in her chart does that, and the Uranus on the midheaven does that. This was a busy woman, and I can't imagine it was hard for her to relax. The Chiron got this sextile to Neptune, which is an idealism, and gives her a powerful imagination. The Chiron is square, or no, it's sesquiquadrate to the Sun and the Mercury, and that is she's capable of enduring a lot of frustration, and she always wants to try something new, and she is undeterred by a frustration. She blasts right through it. This woman had talent. and she had guts. The sesquiquadrate, that's 135 degrees, and that's another one of those division by 8. And division by 8 always gives you issues of adjustment, like the 135 and the 45 says that you have to eliminate what doesn't work here. It's a time to, at 45 degrees. Okay, pay attention to the job you're doing here. Does this work? If not, do something else. And so she had that really well. She could tell what worked, and if it didn't work, she got rid of it and did something new. Quite capable of picking up new stuff and trying it. Okay, she's not only got 5 planets in fire, she's got 7 mutable planets. And that really makes it hard for her ever to get into, for her to ever have anything solid and that she can count on in her life. Her world is constantly changing. She's constantly changing. And I think she enjoyed that, actually. Having the Uranus up there, she always wanted to surprise us with something new. The Venus is square the Neptune, and that is issues difficulty in finding love, and it's a real need for love. And what you have to do is you have to learn to give love. You have to develop your own compassion. Instead of wanting others to love me, you have to learn to love others. And she had that, and it, like I said, brought disappointment in love. And that Mars over there, that brutality. Notice that this Mars has got no positive aspects to it. It's got square. It's her Mars, and it gives her ability to work hard, but it's not an easy Mars to live with. Even though it's in Pisces, it's still ruled by that Jupiter, which pumps everything up. And so that's Tina Turner. Let's see if there's anything else I wanted to tell you about. Moon phase 15 is an endurance test. World is changing, you have to change, and you have to change without losing your integrity. You've worked so very hard to attain this integrity, to build this integrity, to build this perfect unit that you are, this ideal person. And so maintaining that ideal person through what comes and what goes, through all that change, can be very difficult. But the Yeats title for Moon Phase 15 is Beauty. And I think this woman was a beautiful example of a Moon Phase 15. Well, that's about all I have to say about Tina Turner. I admired her greatly and enjoyed her work. So creative. This beautiful Venus in the 5th house. I gotta sing. And she did. I hope you're well. I'm recovering, even though I'm still in Moon Phase 3. And I kind of hold my breath and hope that nobody else that I love dies. Well, a Moon Phase 3, you just endure it and keep going. Forge ahead, and so that's what I'm doing. I pray that you're well. And the things that I have learned in these past few years is how important it is to tell the people you love that you love them. And do it more than once a month, okay? Take care. Bye-bye.